Hey everyone, thanks for joining us again. We want to go over an update on some of the things that have happened in the last week and try to fill you guys in on some of the changes so that you know what to expect for school at Sloat Junior High this upcoming semester. First of all, schedule pickup. A lot of questions about when are we going to pick up schedules? When are we going to pick up schedules? Schedules will probably be ready tomorrow at some point, but we are still reviewing some things. We've got a lot of students moving to virtual, and there's some specific rules from the state that we have to make sure we're going to follow. So first of all, we're not going to have a big day of schedule pickup. I'm not going to have that many people coming up into the building at one time. It just seems like a bad idea at this point. So we will be getting those schedules to families. If you do not have an email address on file, I highly recommend it because a lot of how we're going to get things out to you this year is email. So you can call us during school business hours. We can definitely add your email address. You can email me in and say, hey, this is so-and-so, and we'll make sure that we get your email added. So we definitely want to be able to get those schedules out as soon as possible. To me, schedule pickup is a whole different situation from how we do orientation and tours and things like that. So we want to deliver the schedule as early as possible, and the best way for us to do that probably is by email. So with that being said, if you haven't gotten your email into the school, please call the school, 918-486-2127. Get a hold of somebody up here and have us update PowerSchool with your email address. Number two, the number one issue that we have every year at junior high, and this is really focused on 7th grade parents, is the TDAP. We have to have a signed or stamped copy of your shot record, not just your shot record, not a schedule of when you're supposed to get shots. You can't just print the shot record off of OSIS and bring it in. We need a signed and stamped version of it so that we can turn it in. It's a very important rule. It affects 7th grade. There's a monetary fine involved from the State Department if we don't comply, so we're going to comply. If you have any questions about exemptions or the procedures, email or call before you come up. But every 7th grader has to have a shot record on file. Obviously, we want immunization records for all students, but we're going to be really picky about those 7th grade shot records. So, signed or stamped. One of the best ways is have your doctor's office send a signed copy over to us via fax. It's real easy. Our fax number, 918-486-7307. That's a great way to get that over to us. You can also email it as long as the email is a scan that we can print out. If it's just a picture off your phone and we can't print it, we might ask for another copy. That's just so that we can be in compliance with the law because all of us want to stay out of jail. That's really our goal. Hey, virtual enrollment is still open. So if you want to consider your kid being part of virtual or hybrid, get on that form on the Quita PS website, fill it out. One of our counselors or principals will contact you to discuss the details. And you're saying, well, what about hybrid? You still need to fill out that form virtually. One of my rules is if you really want your student to be a virtual student, you have to be able to fill out online forms, and they have to be able to fill out online forms because virtual students are going to have to do that on a regular basis. You can feel free to come up and talk to me. We can schedule appointments for those kinds of things, but we definitely need you to turn that form in virtually. The new start date, I know a lot of people pay attention. I'm sure you've all heard. I'm probably the last person to tell you, is going to be August 26th after a school board meeting last night. Has a lot to do with making sure we have the right technology in your kids' hands. August 26th is a Wednesday. We look forward to seeing all of you guys there on that day who are starting traditional. It's going to be also the start date for our virtual students. And so we want to make sure that everyone's ready to go August 26th. Another big question parents ask, they say, where's the school supply list? Where's the school supply list? Well, traditionally in junior high, we've not had a school supply list. We've almost always had, you come by and you get the teacher's syllabus and they says, these are the things you need for class, and we do that. But this year we did compile what we call the general school supply list. We're gonna put a link to it, hopefully in the description of this video. Also, we're gonna put a link on our Facebook page. So if you haven't followed the Facebook page, you'll find this video will be up there too. A link for a school supply list for 7th and for 8th grade. It's not completely inclusive. Obviously, there's some things that could come up based on classes that your kid might take. But we've really tried to make a list that lets you know what you need for your child to be prepared. If you are a new student, and we're talking about new student enrollment, or you hear me say new students, I'm not talking to people who's it's their first year in the junior high, because that's half of us. I'm talking about students who did not attend Coweta Public Schools in the spring semester. So if you're a new student, a couple of things. One, make sure you sign up for an appointment for new student enrollment. There are 4 particular forms that we absolutely have to have for new student enrollment, and if you guys don't have those turned in, we can't get you in Power School to even do any of the other parts of the enrollment. So make sure that we have your shot record, your birth certificate, a proof of service or signed lease agreement, and the other thing. What's the other thing? I don't remember, but there's 4 things. It's in my last video. Wait, proof of service, birth certificate, shot record. Oh, we don't know. Hold on, we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and we thought of what it was. It's the photo ID of the legal guardian who has the authority to enroll the student. Remember, we're just not enrolling kids based on your say-so. We need to make sure that they're a legal resident, you're a legal resident, and that you have the authority to do it. So this paper has been floating around, and I'm gonna put it up here so you can see it. These are all the things. There's some extra things on here, but without those 4 things, which are birth certificate, photo ID, signed lease agreement or other proof of service, current, and signed or stamped shot record, we aren't going to be able to finish that. That's new students only. And what makes you a new student? New to Coweta Public Schools? Yes. Starting 7th grade? No. Also, we're working on a system maybe to do orientation for brand new students to Coweta Public Schools. I don't know that I'm going to be able to open up the building to all 500 families that are involved up here, but we're working on a system for brand new students. After you've finished your new student enrollment, you'll need to go on rank 1. We'll contact you with your student ID number. You'll need to go on rank 1. All you other parents need to finish those forms on rank 1 too. We have to be able to finish those forms online because that's a skill that we'll need this year for school. So we're working on systems for enrollment. We're working on systems for orientation. I want to have a time when you guys can come up here. I'm just not sure that that's possible right now. With that being said, we are also working on a digital orientation where you'll have an opportunity to see a great map of the school. It's interactive, so you can customize it to what classes you're going to, so you can see what teachers are in what places, understand our hallways. We want to do everything we can to make it comfortable, but we also want to make sure that we're always following board policy. If you have any questions or concerns, please call me. I have nothing to do but talk to you guys. And that's really, some people will apologize and they'll say, well, Mr. Weiniger, I didn't mean to take up so much of your time. But let's just be honest. I'm here to talk to you guys about your concerns. If you don't have time for a phone call, email. I'll be happy to respond. I think some things are best in face-to-face conversations, and there's times I might call you because I want to have a face-to-face conversation as much as possible, and not just have an email exchange. We are really excited about starting the school year. We want to have a great curriculum for your kids. We want, whether your kid is traditional, we want to make it as normal as we can. We want to have as a regular schedule as possible. My goal is to have traditional kids here for every school day that they physically can be. And I'm going to make this place as safe as possible so that we can have school. For those kids who are hybrid, we're going to try to make those transitions smooth. We're going to try to make it possible for you to have the best of both worlds. And for those of you who are virtual students, we're going to do our best to deliver an exciting and robust virtual curriculum that's not just a waste of people's time, that's not just a placeholder or checking off boxes, but where kids experience real learning that's designed for virtual, which has got to be totally different than traditional. So we want to make sure that that happens this year. If you have questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. We will be in the office all the rest of this week. We might have an update on schedule based on that calendar adjustment, but I'm waiting for to hear back from the Education Service Center about some of those things. But please email, call. I'm available to you guys. Have a great day. Go Tigers.